So here we are, today's project. We have a 2004 BMW X5, and the customer complaint is a misfire condition. I kind of have a good idea what it is, being that I've worked on this thing before, and we've only replaced one of these components, so I'm going to venture to guess it's on a different cylinder, and it's going to be the same thing but on a different cylinder. So one way how we check that is I have one of these little code readers. It's called basically a Wi-Fi interface for OBD2. This is the guy I use. It just plugs in, it emits a Wi-Fi signal, and I pick it up with a program on my iPad. So I'll go ahead and show you guys that here. So now here we are inside the car, and if anybody is a car person that's watching this, you guys all know where to find these little plugs. It's actually mandated to be within 2 feet of the steering wheel. So in some vehicles it's like in the center console, down low. Some vehicles it's over on the left side, kind of by the door jamb. 9 times out of 10 you're going to find it right over by the driver's kick panel. Reach up underneath there, you'll see a little plug that looks just like that, and that's where that goes. Being I've worked on this thing as many times as I have, I don't even kind of need to think about where it is. I can just feel right down there and it goes right in. So now we're going to turn the key on to position 2, so not the running position, but not the first click, the second click. So first one, there's your second one, all your lights and stuff come on. We're going to go ahead and connect to my iPad here. And now you can see we are connected right here, as indicated by this little green thing that says connected, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and click on Diagnostics. And you have 2 options down here. You can read codes and clear codes, and 9 times out of 10 will automatically pull up the codes. So we're going to go ahead and go to 1. And we have a cylinder number 3 misfire, which is, I figured that would be the code by what the customer described. And last time we had a misfire, it was on cylinder number 2. So now I'll show you guys a way to check and make sure and kind of do process of elimination to figure out exactly what's wrong. Okay, I got a couple of the little engine, they call them engine beauty covers, but they're just little plastic engine covers off. So there's 2 little caps, there's 2 10mm bolts, and you pull those off, and now I'm going to show you what I was talking about. So as I said before, this had a cylinder number 3 misfire. It's an inline 6, so these are your 6, basically down underneath this is your 6 cylinders. This is the valve cover right here, and you have your coils all right here. Now your coils essentially build up voltage enough to create an arc in your spark plug to ignite the air fuel mixture inside there. So these guys have a pretty important job of building up that voltage. So here's our suspect, number 3 misfire. These just have a little pop clip. You just lift them up. This whole thing slides right off, a little connector. There you go. So the reason we replaced 2 of these before is we had a leaky valve cover. The reason we replaced these before, 2 of them, was we had a leaky valve cover, and when the oil leaked inside the spark plug holes, we got quite a bit of problems with misfires and coils going bad. So the 2 main cylinders that we had the issues with, we went ahead and replaced those coils, and we had no further problems. So I can tell just by looking at this one that it is one we did not in fact replace, so that's a pretty good suspect. Okay, we got it out now, and it's kind of hard to tell in there, but there's quite a bit of shmoo in there. When I say shmoo, it looks like rust, and you see there's a little bit of oil on it right here. There on my finger now. There's quite a bit of oil built up inside here. So I'll probably pull the spark plug to check its condition, but I'm going to show you guys a trick on checking to see if a coil is bad. Alright, so I went ahead and pulled those spark plugs, and they look pretty good. Now, as goes for the inside of here. Now that I have a light and I shined a light inside cylinder number 3 coil, there is quite a bit of shmoo built up in there. But anyway, trick I was going to show you guys to see exactly which one is bad. So you have cylinder number 3 and cylinder number 2. We know cylinder number 3 had the issue, not cylinder 2. So in theory, if we switch these two coils, delete the code, and then the code comes back on cylinder number 2, we know the problem traveled with this coil. Therefore, through process of elimination, you can eliminate, your spark plug, any wiring, any of that kind of stuff. You can eliminate all those things and single out to one certain thing and just move one thing to another. You can ultimately identify what your problem is. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take cylinder number 3 coil, and we're going to put it in number 2. And we're going to put number 2 coil in cylinder number 3. So if a code returns for cylinder number 3, we know the coil isn't the issue. But if the code returns for cylinder number 2, then we know for a fact that this coil is bad. Alright, we just went ahead and switched these two right here, and plug them back in. So now we're going to go in, delete the code, fire it up, and see what happens. Well, here we are, back again. Actually had to take it on a test drive to cause a failure, but can anybody guess what happened? I'll wait. Maybe put it in the comments, something like that. If you guessed that coil was wrong and the problem moved from cylinder 3 to cylinder 2, I don't know if you can see that, you would be right. We have a bum coil. So, super easy. I don't know how much they are, I don't remember from last time, but all it is a matter of changing that coil and you should be okay. So, it's a fun little trick you can do when it comes to process of elimination of coils and misfires and stuff like that. If you kind of have a general idea what it is, isolate the problem, move it to a different cylinder, and if it goes with it, then you know what your issue is. And if it doesn't, then it's just one more thing you can cross off your list. But keep that in mind next time maybe you have a misfire condition. That trick will always work.